Hello and good evening from Mapperton. It's a lovely warm spring evening here, and it's just about time because it's been miserably cold for the past few weeks, but it seems as though summer is just around the corner. Anyway, I'm here this evening to introduce this evening's Mapperton Live Extra, and I'm going to be showing another film from the Compassion Matters project. Compassion Matters is a charitable project that promotes kindness and compassion in schools. And what could be more important than that? I'm chair of the trustees of the charity, and we've made these films in order to share with children the lives of people who we believe have led absolutely exemplary, compassionate lives. And one of those is Claire Birchinger, who's the subject of tonight's film. Claire was the nurse who worked in Ethiopia and who was the inspiration for the Live Aid concerts in the 1980s. And she had to make impossible decisions about which children to feed and which children were just simply too malnourished. It's a very, very moving film, and I really hope that you gain something from it. And if you're able to support the charity, I'd be extremely grateful. The website is compassion-matters.org, and you can press the donate button there. Alternatively, there's a QR code that will come up on your screen. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the film.
If you see something wrong, do you rush in without thinking? Do you hope someone else will fix it? Or can you show true courage?
My name is Claire Birchinger, and I've worked for many years as a nurse in war zones. I worked in Africa in a feeding centre for starving children. They had no muscle, no fat, and their skin was just dripping off their bones. It was an awful situation. One day I counted 10 rows of children, and in each row there was 100 children. These ones we could see. There was thousands and thousands more, and I only had 60 places to bring into the feeding centre. I knew the ones I didn't choose would die within a week or two, but I didn't have enough food to feed everybody. So I took the ones that had a kind of spark of light in their eyes and had a better chance of survival. So little was needed to help people. Beans, flour, not a Mars bar, spaghetti bolognese or pizzas, just something basic.
The situation in Ethiopia has gone well beyond the stage at which words like tragedy and disaster have any meaning. Thousands of wasted people are coming here for help. Many find only death.
I didn't see the BBC film because when they came to film me, I just wanted to get rid of them as quickly as possible and get back to feeding my children.
She has to choose who amongst the hundreds who camp outside should be let in. Making that decision day after day, does that do anything to you?
Yes, of course it does. What do you expect? Yes, of course it does. It breaks my heart.
But I heard it made a dramatic effect on the whole world.
People in Britain are donating about £100,000 a day to help the famine victims.
Relief agencies who are trying to cope with the famine have been inundated today with offers of help from the public.
I heard about a record being made by Band Aid and this person called Bob Geldof. I had batteries for my shortwave radio and I could hear this song, and it was a song by Band Aid, and it's Feed the World, Do They Know It's Christmas?
Claire has saved many lives. What makes her so courageous? Is she just very brave? Or is there more to courage than bravery?
I'd never thought of having courage to do the job, but I knew that my role was to look after the wounded. I was held at gunpoint several times and had to negotiate my way through. I used to be really worried if somebody came with me into a war zone and wasn't scared. It's healthy to be scared. It's healthy to be worried. In Lebanon, one of our cars carrying a nurse, a doctor and a driver blew up on mines, and it was in the middle of no man's land, in the middle of an area where two fighting factions were shooting each other. You go up to the front line, you've got these fighters who are living in dugouts and they're living in filthy conditions, and they're covered in Kalashnikovs and grenades and rocket-propelled grenades and bullets, and you have to get out the vehicle and say, well, excuse me, can I can I cross the front line? And please don't shoot me. And we actually went on foot, and we went in a line, and we carried a large red cross, metre by metre, and we walked behind each other in each other's footsteps, maybe going through a minefield to pick up the wounded and then carried them back. I was scared, but we had planned what we would do, and we were as careful as possible going in to collect them and bring them out again.
Claire needed courage on the battlefield. She also needed it at school.
No, I was not a star pupil. I was bottom of the class, and I was so bad that I was put in a class a year younger than me, and I was so bad at that I was put in reform class, and even then I didn't excel at that. I couldn't read a book until well in my teens, and even then it was sporadic, and my writing's quite difficult to read, and to write a sentence, all words are back to front. The words, not just the letters. And I used to try so hard, and the teachers often say, you've got to try harder, Claire. I didn't feel bad about how I did at school. I was always sad. I think sad rather than bad. Many, many years later, when I was in my 20s, my mother was reading a woman's magazine, and she read about dyslexia. And she said, Claire, look at this. It sounds like this is what you've got. You must have this dyslexia thing. I always wanted to be a nurse. I can remember when I was a child, I was bandaging my teddies and dolls, and I knew I was going to be a nurse, and I knew I was going to work in Africa.
Claire's a modest person. She doesn't seek recognition. But she was made a dame by the Queen.
I got a letter in the post, and it said that I was being put forward to become a dame. I was thinking, Claire, you read that letter wrong. You're dyslexic. You read that letter wrong. It didn't say that. And my mother and my sister were taken off one way, and I went off the other way, and my hat fell off. And we went into this wonderful big room, and then eventually we were called in. I was the first in line, and I received my medal from the Queen, who was a lovely woman, and she knew all about you. When I read an article about myself, or maybe if I see this film, I won't recognise this person and what they've done. Because I don't go out to win awards or get accolades. Never gone out to do that. I've just gone out to do what I feel is the right thing in life, and to do my best.
Claire's worked in the most dangerous parts of the world. But do you have to face danger to show courage?
Everyone can find courage in their own situation. Whether you are an electrician or mechanic or a doctor or a vet, you create value in the situation you're in. I was a nurse, and I was good at doing emergency situations and people who got their legs blown off or being shot. When I go to schools now, it's because what I want to tell them is that you've got to be the change you wish to see. So not getting a job, go and do any job, any voluntary job, just move forward somehow. Not passing exams, go and do any exam. You could do a first aid exam or something. It doesn't matter you haven't got A stars in or go to university. Everyone's capable of winning somehow in life. I've worked as a cleaner, I've worked as a car hire driver, typing, worked for a solicitor, or even when I was trained as a nurse, all to reach the goal of where I wanted to get to. So don't worry that there's not just one straight path to reach your goal. And have faith that you can change the world by one little step, one step at a time.